Hello, my name is Elisa Pierce. I am the product owner for Daylight, one of our Surfliner applications. We have a review today for our summer Surfliner work cycle. This is the review for Sprint 1. The sprint started on July 10th and went to July 23rd. To this sprint, we have focused on Daylight, Comet, and Lark. And so what we've been able to accomplish in Daylight is bettering our developer experience. And so we've put in time and effort into creating a more fluid developer experience, as well as some discussions about the components. So I should probably take a step back. Daylight is a micro front end that we are building to become a discovery platform for our other suite of applications within Surfliner. Being a micro front end, the goal is to have it be modular and customizable by each campus, but the Daylight will provide that trail of success to reach that end goal, which is a front end that is available to all for the discovery of the objects in all of these systems. And so here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have put together in one of the discussions a slice of what those components are. So we actually started discussing, excuse me, as I move some Zoom controls out of the way. What is that framework going to look like for the front end? What does Daylight look like in our repo that is available? And so we needed to find a framework, and this one was kind of an easy one to land on. We had demoed in the last sprints using a Blacklight backend, and so that's where we thought would be a great start. Let's slice up the Blacklight interface into components, build the components, and deliver them for Daylight as the default example of how this micro front end could be installed or implemented. And so here you'll see we started the conversation with some of the major pieces. That's the lines in red. We have a header, we have a search, we have our main article area, as well as facets. And we've added here a footer, as in just most cases, that's where we're going to have copyright information, as well as campus information and possibly quick links. Again, one of the things that I'm hoping for with Daylight is that it will provide customization that suits whichever campus is using it the best. And so campuses will be able to drive their technologies for their front end through this framework. And so with Blacklight, after you've done searching, you actually come here to a list of results. We also cut out some almost token size components here, the things like our filter notifications, pagination, and our default results card. And then finally, our actual object page. And here we would have an object component as well as a right sidebar component that could be filled with tools. It could be filled maybe with additional information. Again, being customizable to the campus. These are just some example components for the Blacklight app to help trailblaze those decisions possibly for individual projects. And so that is what I have to demo for Daylight. I'm now going to pass it over to Margaret, and she's going to show us what's happened with Comet.
Yeah, I am Margaret Kibbe. Um, and I well, I'm the technical lead for Daylight. And so I just want to reiterate what Elisa has said. Um, that we did some preliminary discussions there, and we also spent a lot of time working on the developer experience for Daylight, which is not really demoable. That's also been the focus that we've really had for Comet. We're a little shorter staffed this work cycle than we normally are. But on the other hand, we have a few new people joining us from UC Santa Cruz, and they've been working on polishing up some of our test suite um, so that that works better and really making it easier for us to develop with the fewer number of developers that we have right now um, has been one of the focuses of this this sprint. I'm stepping in for Comet right now because Tamsin has left us, moved to a different role at UCSB. So Comet doesn't really have a technical lead right now. Um, but this is Comet. Um, we're in a bit of a awkward situation right now um, with Comet because the work that I want to demo here is merged. It's all in there. But we've had some issues deploying it to UCSB, so I can't demo it live. But I want to show some screenshots of what changed. So this is the ticket that we originally opened. Um, we noticed in Comet there are these two tabs, and it's still a bit. Um, I think there's still discussions about whether the Your Objects tab is actually useful in Comet. But we have Your Objects and we have All Objects. And we noticed that these columns were very different between the two tabs. In Your Objects, it gave visibility, it gave publication status. Um, and then if you went into the All Objects, it just had visibility. It didn't have publication status in it. And we really wanted to be able to see whether something's published in the All Objects tab, not just Your Objects. So Longshu did some work to bring this in line. Here's another thing that was a bit weird. There was a status here, and which linked up with this column, but the terminology was a bit different um, between published and this isn't actually published to discovery platforms. This is whether it's published in Comet. So there were these things that we wanted to kind of iron out. And here are some screenshots of the new behavior. Like I said, normally this would be demoed, but we've had some deployment issues. So I'm just showing screenshots. Um, Now it says completed, which is the correct label for the workflow status there. And you can see even in the All Objects tab, we have both the visibility and the publication status visible there. And the same thing in the Your Objects tab. So that was a nice piece of change, nice change that we did manage to get in for the user experience side of things. And then again, to reiterate, we've done a lot of not user-facing work, just on the developer experience. We've done some substantial work recently. I don't know if it got into the last work cycle or if it was in between work cycles on how we actually build the development environments in Comet and across all of the Surfliner platforms that Alex worked on. We've been really trying to hone in on the test suite and then in both Daylight and Comet, trying to make it easier for developers to get work done there. I think that's all I have, so I'll turn it back over to Lisa to talk about Lark.
So we also, put Lark into this sprint. There was a discussion had. Actually, could I? Lark is still one that I'm learning sort of how to describe it simply. It's authority control records, and what we were able to do is get a demo from UCSD over how their system is currently being managed. I believe they use the dams management system over there, and they showed us what they do and what what screens that they typically are working with. And so from that, I was able to create a list and some mock-ups. I'm going to share my screen again. And what that produced um, are some of the go-to interfaces that we're going to want to have for Lark's front end. So currently um, in the monorepo, there is a test version, really losing the term now because I'm recorded and on the screen. But we wanted to validate, or what was validating an API that Lark would drive. And so it needs a front end. And so we got a validated API. And now we know that we're going to need a front end. And so these are some of the screens that we were able to sort of land on as needing discussion. And so we have the batch heading import. This would allow you to choose a file, obviously, and select any one of these three elements for the import. We've got a heading merge. We've got a raw RDF editor. We've discussed finding the linked records. There were one of the obvious takeaways I saw from the demo is there was the ability to preview the state of the record and then merge it. There was also the need to create a new authority record as well as view that possible record. So your basic CRUD functionality would end up also being in these mockups. And so these are going to now be artifacts that are used to progress the conversation, to be able to dive in a little bit deeper on whether or not we've captured all the needed fields, on whether or not the flow for the user is going to be able to be useful and efficient and match what the actual task is that they will be asked to do in order to manage these records. And so that was the progress we made for Lark in this sprint. So that is everything that I have to show. And thank you, Margaret, for calling out. It's a big welcome to UCSC. We are so glad that you have joined and are here to help. And so I am excited to see the team grow as the team has changed to losing Tamsin. So it was perfect timing. And so that's it for today's demo. So I am going ahead and stop the recording.